I'm really excited to share this video with you. If you've ever tried to troubleshoot phone wiring, or you're trying to learn more about phone wiring, or if you just like to see a tech wade his way through the process of troubleshooting a complex problem, then this is the video for you. The reason I'm excited to share this video is because I don't always get an opportunity to record in a live customer environment. Many times a troubleshooting call, I just don't know if it's going to be valuable enough to record in the first place. The way the call turned out, I think, will really be something that I think you'll find interesting. Even with all of my years of experience, this call presented challenges to me. I misidentified the problem up front. You get to see my process of working through trying to figure out what in the world I was dealing with. The site was reporting problems with some of their phone lines not working, or some of the lines bleeding over onto each other. And there were actually two different lines that had bleed over, and one of them was the fax line bleeding over onto a voice line. So when a customer would call, they would literally have to wait for the fax tones to stop engaging so they could hear and talk to the customer. So this site was a complete mess. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you learn a lot from it. Let's get into it. So the first thing I want to try to do is just understand the system. So I'm going to look around and figure out how everything's wired. Obviously the Adtran is feeding through the Amphenol to a wired connection over here that lights up the whole block, and then they're doing cross connects over to the different devices. I say line 3 is completely dead, and that's the top one. Well, if that's true, I can see why it's dead, because there's literally no pair going to it. So I need to check and see if that's actually legit. On my work order, it gave me all of the phone numbers. 2236 is line 3. Okay, so it's not labeled correctly on here. So supposedly 2236 is line 1, which again is not cross-connected. Well, so trust but verify, as I always say. So what I'm going to do is actually put my butt set on what is labeled as 2236. Now, since the Amphenol is feeding on this side of the block, that means that the dial tone should be on this side of the block. So I don't have any bridge clips, so checking on this side of the block, I'm not going to get anything. I have to check on this side of the block. So I'm going to line up to this pair. I have absolutely nothing. So out of curiosity, do I have anything on any of these? Okay, I've got dial tone on that one. I have dial tone on the top one, which is labeled as 3, but there's no cables connected to it. Second pair, I've got something. Third pair, I have something. 1, 2, 3, 4, I have nothing. So that's labeled wrong. Alright, so that gives me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I've got 5 lines that give me dial tone. Well, and I have other ones that give me dial tone, but that could just be the Adtran. It's kind of wild that that particular one that's labeled has nothing on it. So now what I want to do is I want to verify the numbers. Okay, I just got a fast busy. I'll have to dial a 9. Let's see if that makes a difference. Still fast busy. Still a fast busy. Okay. I'm on tone, I'm not on pulse. It's always important. Make sure you're not on pulse unless you are working on a pulse system. It's weird that I cannot dial out. Let's see what this second line gives me. Fast busy. That worries me. Is this Adtran even on? Status is green, power is green, data. What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on? Okay, so I need to know where the dial tone is coming from. So I've got a bridge clip here. I've got wires coming on both sides. This looks like extensions, so this should be the incoming side. And it's marked as 2236. So it is one of the numbers. Okay, I have no dial tone there. I have dial tone here. So that means my dial tone is coming from this side. Alright, now where are we going? It almost looks like they're doing direct POTS lines. Maybe they've eliminated this Adtran, so maybe that's misleading. Have you guys had any change in phone service or anything the last few months?
Not that we know.
It almost looks like this white Adtran that I was focusing on is not in play, but I think it's still wired in. Well, I'll keep investigating to verify that, but...
Okay. It was state of the art when we got it.
I'm curious what happens if we just unplug the Adtran. It appears that we've got a black feeder cable coming out from outside, I'm assuming, that's feeding this block. What's odd is that this Adtran is still in play. When I took this bridge clip off, I still had dial tone, which tells me that it is coming from this black cable. The fact that this is still kind of wired in places makes me wonder if we've got a little bit of crossover going on. So I'm going to go test the phones out front and see if we still have dial tone with this off, so I can verify that that's not in use. Well, he's on a phone call, and I turned this off, so I guess he still has phone service. Alright, so I unplugged the Adtran, and that did not affect the existing dial tone. That lets me know that the Adtran is completely out of service. The fact that it's still kind of wired in makes me wonder if it is causing some of the problems. So I'm going to basically isolate it and disconnect it. We've got these labeled for different lines, so I'm assuming that's where our black termination point is here. At this point, I've got this Adtran block completely isolated. I'm going to go check and see if me disconnecting these has interrupted any of the lines out front. And I'm seriously thinking about taking this Adtran just completely down and out so that it doesn't cause problems. Looks like that modem is attached to here. There's a power cord. This was fed off the old T1 smart jack. Hello. That was fun. Nothing like there's the drywall screw. Oh, it wasn't even screwed into that bracket. Because the only thing holding it up was the wires. I'm gonna go see how the lines are doing out front to see if any of these cross connects affected those. I just checked the desk phone. Lines 1 and 4 still work, which worked when I got here. Lines 2 and 3 don't work. They didn't work when I got here. And I'm gonna test the fax, make sure the fax line still works. So my disconnections did not affect what was working when I got here. Now we just need to see if we can figure out what's going on with these other lines that aren't working. I got all the extra wiring out of the way. Now I'm going to go back to the basics and see how many phone lines I can actually find on this block, now that we know that the phone company is bringing the dial tone to this side of the block. Okay, that gives me dial tone.
What's that vinyl you get?
Let's see what this is. Well, the writing is really poor, but I guess that is 8424. All right, that one also says 8425. I think that is just a jumper. I don't think that's coming from the Telco. So I think our next actual Telco number is going to be right here. And again, 8425. So I've had 3 different spots come up with 8425. They may have it caller ID masked, which creates a problem because then I can't call out to identify the lines. I'm going to have to call in with the numbers that I've been given. Alright, so that is 2236. We've got a different number there, finally. Okay, so I see they've got daisy chains on 8425. We've got it going from here to here. We've got another daisy chain going from here to here and here to here. So that's all going to be 8425. I've got one more pair coming from the Telco right here. It's not marked on the block. So I basically have 3 lines. I've got 8425, 8424, and 2236. These are the only ones I found that have dial tone. The orange pair from the Telco feeding 8424. The green pair feeding 8425. Gray pair. I don't have a jumper on that. Did I really see that right? Or are we running some jumper around here? Let's make sure. This also appears to be 8425. Okay, so 8425 is apparently their fax machine. And that's the one they have daisy chained all over the place. There's a number I have not found on the block yet.
What are you doing now?
8422.
Okay.
And I have 2 different numbers ringing on 2 different lines. So it really looks like I've got some serious crossover. What's nice is I only have one desk phone. Okay, so I only have one desk phone to worry about, and I've got one fax and alarm panel to worry about. So I could theoretically just trace out those extensions and just redo the wiring, because we probably still have something left over from the Adtran days, as well as a power outlet that goes nowhere. Eris, an old Cox modem probably. I took a picture of the jack and it says 3A and 3B. Seriously thinking about just stripping this down and starting over. Problem is, if you got a daisy chain and you've got all this other stuff feeding in to the daisy chain, I think we've got some serious crossover going on here. 2 different numbers are ringing on line 2 and 2 different numbers are ringing on line 3, so there's a crossover somewhere here. So I want to try to isolate these lines so I can figure out where the crossover is and get it isolated. They've only got one extension, which is extension 3, that is actually wired. So it has a base, and then the rest of the phones are cordless phones. They do have a fax, which I need to figure out what extension that's going to. And I have one phone number I haven't located on the block yet. 8422, which is their primary line. I've looked here where the Telco is, and for some reason I just haven't found it. So I'm going to try one more time. They've got daisy chains going here as well. For which doesn't make any sense because this entire block is daisy chained and it has multiple extensions going to different spots in the building. So I don't understand why they have this daisy chained. And then we've got a jumper going over here to additional wiring. But there are jumpers going all over the place to this block. It's so confusing that I'm just going to try to simplify the system once I figure everything out. Alright, so that is 8424, which is what I labeled it. So we got jumpers going across from here to here instead of a bridge clip. Do not understand that. And then I've got another jumper going from here to here. Okay, that's clearly the fax. And the fax is one of the ones that's bleeding over. Alright, I got approval to take them down. So I'm just going to take all these jumpers off and we're just going to start from scratch. Alright, so this is the beginning of the daisy chain for one of the 4 possible lines. Let's see what we got next here. We've got some jumpers coming across from here. And here's another one. This one is what could be probably port 3. Okay, this black cable is feeding this block, and this block is cross-connected down here. And then on this side, it's cross-connected to this wire, which is going up and over to a smart jack T1. T1's not in service. For right now, what I'm doing, I've got I've got a building block that has all the extensions on it, and then I've got a telco block that has the phone company stuff. It was so.
Like a 66 block and then like the D-Mark block?
Yeah, yeah. And so I've already pulled the Adtran out. The Adtran was kind of layered on top of all that. So I pulled the Adtran out, pulled the cabling out, and did some testing. And the phone lines, basically, we've got 2 phone lines that are each overlaying themselves. When a phone number rings, calls in, it's ringing on line 3 and line 2. And then there's another one that does the same thing, and it's bleeding over. There was so many little daisy chains and cross connects between these 2 blocks. I basically pulled everything off of the telco block just to isolate it down to the telco, and then I'm going to trace out the extensions that we need to wire back up and just make sure there's just one simple extension cross connect to each line. It's taken me a long time to figure out even what I was dealing with because of the way they had this wired, but I'm making progress. Right now I've got the telco block cleaned off, completely isolated, so I'm going to identify all the lines again now that I have it clean, and then cross-connect it over to the house wiring.
Rewire from the D-Mark to the internal wire.
Yeah, exactly. It'll definitely be more simple to figure out next time somebody has to come out here.
That's fantastic. Yeah, take as many pictures as you can, honestly, if you haven't already. Just show what kind of mess we're looking at, what you were dealing with, and then what the results are going to be once you're done. You know what I mean? Kind of give us, kind of show us how your step-by-step process, so we can get an idea of what you have to do. You know what I mean?
Yep, sounds good.
Okay, great. Yeah, as soon as you can, send those photos over and just give us a call back with an update.
Okay, will do.
All right. Thank you very much. I'll leave you back to it.
All right, thanks. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Now that I've got the telco block isolated, I'm going to go back through and check these lines and see if they map out the same way. This will also let me know if I have any internal wiring shorts. Okay, 8424 is on port or pair 2. Let's see if we got any dial tone on the next one. Okay, so the next one has no dial tone. Now the telco wiring is spread out. There's the orange and the green pair. They've got a red-blue here. And then they've got brown, brown, white here. And then further down they got blue, blue, white. So it's really kind of spread out. So realistically, so I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, there's a gray pair there. So 5 has a gray pair. So 4 is blank. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 3 is blank. So 2 is my orange, orange, white. 3 is my green, green, white. 4 is blank. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is my gray, gray, white. And let's see if we have dial tone on the gray. I have noise, but I don't have dial tone. And that's marked as 2-2, which is really interesting because 2-2 is the one that I couldn't find before. Well, line 3 was ringing. That's 2236. Let's see what happens. So 2236, I'm pretty sure is this one. So this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So pair 8 is my red and blue. You see how these angle apart from each other? That way they don't cancel each other out. So I expect this to be 8425. Okay, perfect. I at least know where 8425 is. I'm going to assume that the brown pair should be my 236, I think. Yeah. So that is on 9. And there's my 236. And that is brown, white, brown. The only other pair is this blue, blue, white pair. So I'm curious if it has dial tone at all. Okay, that's completely dead. I don't hear anything at all on that. I still have not found the 22 number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got 6 lines. Oh yeah, blue, blue, white. So that would be on 11, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So the only one marked 22, which is the one I'm looking for, is dead. And that's what I think the problem is. I hear power on the line. So 8422 is the primary line. 8425 is fax. 8424 is line 2. 2236 is line 3. You know, I'm just trying to keep myself organized, so I've marked what spot on the block it is, including little blank out spaces wherever there's a pair from the telco. Then the lines that I found, now this one it's identified in writing, but it's not live. So I think, and that's their main telephone number, so I think that's the core problem right there. Of course, the question is that is the gray white. You know, is it punched down poorly? It looks really good and clean.
Dang, dude, you gotta pull all that out.
Yeah, well, yeah, now I'm just getting ready to reconnect it. Okay, so that's a bad line. Okay, I need to verify which one of these daisy chain pairs corresponds to the jacks at the extension. So I'm going to go play with that first, and that way I know what to cross connect back to the telco. Okay, so what we've got: blue, green, orange, cream, and brown. Okay. Anyway, I don't care about all the other extensions. All I care about is extension 1, which goes to the fax machine, and extension 3, which goes to the wireless base. If I get those two to work, the rest of this daisy chain spaghetti mess doesn't matter for me. They're not using it. So I'll take any of these jumpers off that aren't directly impacting that. I'm going to go put my toner on 3 so I can get the phone lines back up and running. In theory, I should get a tone in this ballpark. Okay, so that's on the blues. Okay, good. So does that flow through to this pair? So that means that this lights up the daisy chain. So if I put this where I think 8422 belongs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, gray pair. 422. You know what? I'm going to bring this there here just to. So instead of trying to punch down over here where the telco is, I want to punch down on this side so we can bridge clip it, and in the future it can be troubleshot and isolated by pulling the bridge clip. I don't have dial tone on line 1, but that's because the telco's bad. So now I'm going to go for line 2. Should be 8424. So it's this one. I got to figure out which color pair that jack is on. On the wall side, we've got 2 jacks. We have 4 lines, theoretically. So each jack has a plug. So you can have 2 lines on that because their phone is set up to allow 2 plugs with 2 lines each. So my guess is that line 2 is going to be on the orange pair. So I get my toner, put it here, and make sure that that jack tones. So I'm going to assume that the orange pair is line 2 of that same plug. And then I'm going to go tone it. Let's see if I got it. All right, perfect. So that proved to be true. That toned out on the orange pair. Is 8424, which is on my orange pair over here, ironically, so that works out. So let's see if I have dial tone all the way through to pair 3's orange pair. Oh, helps if I do a bridge clip to join the two. And the phone starts ringing. Hello? Hey, I'm sorry. I'm doing a test. I'm a phone guy, and I just accidentally picked up the line. So their phones are down right now. Apologize. Sorry. Okay, call back in just maybe like an hour. I should be done with it. Okay, thanks. I picked up a call by accident. That's kind of funny. Okay, so we should have line 2 now on the phones. Okay. Eight, 4, 2, 4. Perfect. Now we need to do line 3. So based on what I'm seeing, what pair is this? This is a green pair. Let's just see if this will tone. If you don't know bed of nails, you know, I don't have to strip this down to copper. I got this little sharp pointed pieces right here. I can just pinch it. I don't have to actually strip it down. Okay, I got tone all the way through to the phone, so that tells me that number 1, I have the right pair and the daisy chain is good. So I'm going to go ahead and plug this in. This will be line 3, which is brown on white. Brown, white, brown, whatever. And our fax line is on red and blue. Okay, so I'm going to have to trace out where that's going. So far I haven't had to use these cross connects. I'm going to go put my toner in the jack and see what I can find. So the fax machine had 2 jacks just like the wireless base did. They had one coming out of 1A, going to the alarm panel, then going to the fax, into the line port. Then they had another cable coming out of the fax for the telephone extension, going back to the wall plate, going to 1B. So that could be why the calls were bleeding over, because they basically had a jumper between the 2 lines, which tied in those 2 together, so when you're getting a fax or you're getting a call, either one is picking up. So we're going to trace out 1A, see if I can find it, which I'm assuming is going to be this. And it's not anywhere else on the block. That tells me I can get rid of this jumper. And then all I should have to do tie this into the fax line, which is again 8425 on port 8. So that should be 8425, earlier identified. It's the top pair of it. do this one with the old-fashioned bridge clips. I'm going to go plug the fax back in and test it. And we had all kinds of jumpers, which I'm going to eliminate some of this. But anyway, there was tons of jumpers going around, all kinds of stuff. And I just ripped everything off and simplified it. This mess, it has a purpose. So this is like every port, which you're only using one, but every port that's in the building is daisy chained together. So you could just plug a phone into it and it should work. So that has to stay this way.
Sure.
This was about as messy as that. So I just cleaned it off. Because this side right here is where the phone company comes in from this black cable.
Okay.
And it punches down on this side of the block. Then these 4 lines over here are going over to this mess to light up the jacks in the building.
Okay.
So I set it so that basically this right here is your line 1 and it's dead. But it's wired, it's ready. So as soon as they fix it, then it's just going to automatically light up.
So that's an external something.
Yeah, something's up with there.
Over that away.
Yeah, because when I put my little test set on it, I can hear sound, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, sure.
You can hear there's power on the line. So it's supposed to be there, but there's just no dial tone.
Okay.
And then I checked this pair, this blue pair, and it's dead. But it's not, you know, like you're not missing any lines except for line 1. And this has got like a little mark that says 22 on it. So that tells me that's got to be your line 1.
Okay.
And the fact that it has power. So I'm making an educated guess that this is where line 1 is, because I know this one, I know this one, and I know that one. This one has no power, and this one has no power. So it's got to be that gray pair. But your phone company guys are going to know. They'll come out and they'll check it and all that. But just, you know, and then I put these, what we call bridge clips on it, so that we can isolate it. Because if you undo this, it separates the building from the telco. That way they can troubleshoot. Because they had some of it like plugged in over here, so there's no way to like easily take off the house wiring to check against the phone company's wiring. Whoever did, you know, it was not done well.
Well, I'm not a computer nor a phone person, but I come back here and I'm like, surely we do not, so I base it off what I see in my house.
Yeah.
Which is like a little box with a cord and it powers everything.
Right.
So I'm like, why do we need all of this stuff back here?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, they used to have it, this used to be a T1, which is an old-style internet circuit. There's a DSL jack here that's, out, you know, clearly out of use now. I don't even know, what is your internet? Like, is it Cox, or do you know? That's the only thing I haven't seen. I don't see anything internet back here.
I don't think it's Cox. So we've got our towers and everything is upstairs.
Oh, is it like a cellular or wireless?
Wireless system is here.
Okay, because I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, did I disconnect something? But your internet's working, right?
Yeah, it's a wireless system.
All right, then I'm just going to take these extra jumpers out. I just hate seeing messes, and there are things that are just not done right because it's just not going to get fixed if I don't fix it. You know.
Well, I appreciate you doing it.
Well, it looks a lot better than when I got here. That's all that matters. That was a bit of an adventure. It just shows you that I may have experience, but I still didn't know what I was getting into. You know, I started out with that Adtran. It was confusing. There were so many cross connects. It was just nuts. It was much easier just to simplify the system, pull everything off, retrace it all, connect it back in a simple, logical way, and just get rid of all the junk. You know, this is a little confusing for those of you who may not have seen it, but it's just a daisy chain system. You've just got orange, 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 always going to the third pair. Blue, 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 always going to the first pair. Green going to the second. Brown to the fourth pair. And that way every jack in the building has 2 ports, blue-green on the first 2, and then orange-brown on the second jack. So it's always line 1, 2, line 3, 4 on every jack. So it makes it much simpler to work with once you understand that. You know, all you do is daisy chain it. And then we just had to figure out where to tie in the phone lines to that daisy chain to light up the daisy chain. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you got value today, please like the video and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.